Hi, and welcome to the Axis Direct Opening Bell, your essential pre-market podcast. In just minutes, get key global updates, overnight trends, and market-moving factors that set the tone for the day. Whether you're a seasoned trader or just someone tracking the markets, this is your go-to briefing to stay ahead at all times. So let's dive straight in. Good morning on a Thursday, and we will start with US stocks, which continued their march onto record highs after PPI jumped less than expected, bolstering the case for a larger rate cut of 50 basis points next week. The S&P 500 finished 0.3% higher at 6,532, while the Nasdaq 100 ended flat. Oracle was the big mover on the day as it jumped 36%, its largest single-day gain since 1992 on an aggressive outlook for its cloud business, and saw its CEO Larry Ellison briefly become the richest man in the world, upstaging Elon Musk. In related markets, the VIX rose 2% to 15.4, while the dollar index and the 10-year treasury yield both slipped. Gold rebounded 0.4% but failed to make a new intraday record, while Brent crude advanced 1.7% and closed at 67.5 a barrel on the general risk-on sentiment. Meanwhile, the rupee closed flat at 88.10 as investors assessed mixed signals from the ongoing trade talks between the US and India. Speaking stocks, and the Nifty ended 105 points higher at 24,973, while the India VIX dropped 1.4% to 10.5. Mid-caps and small-caps rose and outdid the Nifty. 10 of the 12 NSE sectors advanced, with IT and PSU banks rising 2.6% and 2.1% respectively. Autos were the big loser as the sector fell 1.3%. On the NSE 500, breadth was positive as 7 stocks rose for every 3 that fell. Bharat Electronics was the top gainer in the Nifty, rising 4.3%, while Mahindra & Mahindra was the big loser as it slipped 2.5%. Technically speaking, even though a spinning top candlestick was generated yesterday, the gap up has created a bullish rising window on the daily chart, and the onus is now on bulls to protect the 24,892 level on a closing basis, at least in the near term. More important resistance sits at 25,244. Critical support has now moved higher to 24,500. Meanwhile, provisional data showed that foreigners withdrew 115 crores yesterday, with the month-to-date outflow now sitting at just over 5,900 crores. Onto derivatives, and the Nifty's put-call ratio went to 1.15 from 1.13, while the Bank Nifty's went from 0.95 to 1. Nifty put liquidation was slightly more than what was seen in calls, and implied volatility rose 90 basis points, which means bullish positions were exited. For options set to expire on 16 September, resistance lies in the 25,000 to 25,200 area, while support sits between 24,800 and 24,900. Elsewhere, 1% out of the money call volatility fell more than similar distance put volatility, and that means volatility traders remain cautious. Speaking net index options activity, foreigners and proprietary traders were light bullish, while retail investors remained bearish. Elsewhere, foreigners' net shorts in index futures fell by 4,000 contracts to 185,000 contracts. Looking forward to the day, the GIFT Nifty opened 12 points higher. Asian markets were largely up along with US index futures. Coming to stocks, CEAT and Inox India were at horizontal resistance. Craftsman Automation was at trendline support, while BPCL and HPCL were at trendline resistance. Talking NSE 500 breadth, 45%, 52% and 60% of stocks were above their 50, 100 and 200-day moving averages. The all-important initial jobless claims and CPI numbers will be released later today. That is a wrap on the day's podcast. Please note that this podcast serves solely for informational purposes and should not be considered financial advice of any kind. For a comprehensive disclaimer, please visit our website. Thank you, and we will see you tomorrow at the same hour. Have a good day.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.